Hi, media. We're here with Bruce Cassidy. We'll take our first question from Matt Porter.
Bruce, you've seen Brad Marchand do a lot of special things tonight. You asked for him and others to get to the inside of the ice. He certainly did that. What can you say about his performance?
Yeah, I don't think that's ever an issue for him getting inside. I think we have to remind Brad that he's a goal scorer. Sometimes, particularly since he's started running, the pucks that run through him on the power play, there'll be stretches 5-on-5. Then he starts deferring and looking for plays. And I think sometimes we got to just, hey, you're a goal scorer, get to the dirty areas. When it's your turn to shoot. Not that there was much question on those goals. He went to the back post for Nose. Nose made a nice play. Shorty, Johnny comes flying by him. He stays with the play. So good examples of getting to the net. Cycle started with the other goal. We get it to Smitty in the slot. And we have good spacing triangle, and he just works hard to recover him and Bergie both. So all greasy goals, all goals you need to score. They don't always go in, but good habits, and you'd like it to trickle down to other guys. And again, playing hard. After seeing his teammate get taken off the ice, Johnny Moore, I think he was upset. And Johnny's a popular guy in our locker room, so he wanted to make sure he's physical as well.
Steve Conroy.
Bruce, you guys have scored a bunch of goals here in the past 7 games. I know you won't be scoring 5 goals a game, but is this who you are now? Do you think? Are you a more explosive team than you thought you might have been able to be?
Yeah, there's probably a balance in there somewhere, Steve. You're right. It's tough to score 5 goals every night in this league. Nobody does. But we shouldn't be around, 2 either. We should be somewhere in between. And obviously nights are going to run into a hot goaltender. I think at the start of the year, there was a lot of games that, would walk out of here or walk out of a game on the road and their goalie would be first star. That hasn't happened as much lately. Some of that's on us taking advantage of our opportunities, hitting the net more, putting more pressure on the goaltender. And some of it's, the goaltending kind of evens out at points. So I do believe this is closer to who we are in terms of our pace of play. We made the start of the year, we weren't playing as fast with the puck. We weren't supporting as well. Some of that is new people and a new system. Some of that is us making sure we reinforce to the players what we're looking for. And some of it's just getting into a rhythm of the game, right? And getting some results. So lately we, as I said, I think we used our time well coming out of the break to sort of reinstill some of those principles and getting our D to get it up in a hurry. And it doesn't always connect, but at least it forces the other team to work to defend and get to their spots. And if they don't, then they have poor gaps and we're able to get going. And whether it's a forecheck or, the other night in Washington happened to be line rushes, right? So it usually results in something positive where you're stressing the other team. And I think that's had a lot to do with it.
Kevin Dupont.
Bruce, a couple of Tuukka questions. First one, if it had been 5-0 after 2, might you have brought him in, or is that asking for trouble?
No, I don't think I'd bring him in. He's ice cold on the bench. I think he'd give me the stop sign, Kevin, to be honest with you. He'll be ready. Listen, he's going tomorrow. We know that it's going to be his first game somewhere. It's going to be his first game this year in a Bruins uniform at some time. So happens to be tomorrow. We know that he hasn't played in months. He's told us he's ready to go. I believe him. He looks great in practice. There's going to be the usual stuff, Kevin, of your first game. Like I said, there's going to be a little bit of rust you'll have to shake off in certain areas of the game. And hopefully we play well in front of him, allow him to get through that.
And in the larger picture with Tuukka, do you get a sense of sort of a, lack of a better word here, an electricity in the room or a boost because he's back? Because it's not like he traded for him and he came in from nowhere. He's sort of been part of the woodwork here forever. But is there kind of a juice to it?
Yeah, listen, the guys believe Tuukka's an elite goaltender. They truly believe that in the room. And they're happy to have him back. You're I don't know if sad's the right word for Swayman. He's a young guy. He's healthy. He's going to be back to the National Hockey League. I can't predict when. In a Boston Bruins uniform, he's going to play well. And that's the unfortunate part for Sway, but he'll get an opportunity to work in his game. But the guys are happy to have Tuukka back. He's he's been here his whole career basically, and grown up, as he said, with some of these players in the room, not all of them, but a lot of them. And he's played against a lot of them. They respect how good he is. I've known Tuukka since his second year pro. So the staff's worked with him. So there's goalie Bob's had him from inception. So there's a lot of guys that he's formed bonds with. And he wants to go out and win with those teammates. So yeah, I do believe there's a certain electricity, there's certain buzz. And we'll see where it leads. We're not going to judge his whether he pitches a shutout tomorrow or his average. We're not going to judge him on one game. We feel he's going to make us better at that position. That's why decision was made. We're happy to have him. And let's go.
Tim Rosenthal.
Hey, Bruce, a lot of heated moments in this game, but one moment I wanted to particularly talk about was Patrice Bergeron coming to the aid of Matt Grizzly, I think, during the second period there. When you see that happening, when the guys see that happening, when they see their leader coming to the aid for a guy who's not huge, who doesn't usually display that much emotion, does it have a trickle-down effect on the rest of the team?
Oh, absolutely. And trust me, when these hits happen, if Bergie's not on the ice, he points it out in the bench, right away. We finish every check. He doesn't get up and say, we got to kill this guy or that. We just got to finish every check. We got to respond, push back, whatever words you want to use, and let them know that, hey, we're not going to take that, whether it's in our building or your building. We're missing a bit of size, obviously, with Freddie and Foligno going out in the last trip, but other guys have to step up and just, when it's your turn and be physical. A couple other things happened out there. We thought the hit was late on Johnny Moore, first of all, probably unnecessary. Refs didn't see it that way. Who knows how it'll look. And Grizz kind of got sandwiched in there, and I can't tell if it was high or not, but whatever the case is, it's the same player initiating contact in vulnerable spots. So, we're going to push back, and we did. Good for our guys. Let them know that, like I said, we're not going to put up with that. And, Bergie's the ringleader there, but honestly, other guys in the ice, Marshy hit their skill later. We tried to be physical the next shift, no sixth line, whoever's going over the boards, make sure you finish checks, just to let them know that it's not going to snowball. So good for the guys. And yes, that usually starts with Bergie.
Last question, Matt Vatour.
Bruce, did you get the feeling when you guys were struggling and a little bit uneven earlier that a stretch like this was coming eventually, that it would be just a matter of your guys finding it because of their track record?
I did. A lot of newness, more newness than we were all used to, Matt. So there's a little bit of the unexpected, the unknown going on. But typically this team has got on a run some point early in the year where they can, separate and build their game every night and add wins every night. It happens to be now. As I said, I think the break helped us, came at a good time, both mentally and physically, going back to work on things. A few people get moved around the lineup, Sparks, a few other guys, but eventually, the offense, we had more than what was there at the start of the year. You never know what your ceiling is when you have this many guys, but I knew that, there was more there and eventually would come out. It has. You see it with Pasternak, a guy that scored in this league, Hall a little more, even Halla, who scored, Smitty, they're proven guys in this league, with a certain amount of goals that they were just sort of under their career totals that eventually would come around. Even our decor, they had some tough luck at the start. You knew that, start pitching a little more. Now you're starting to see it more with Grizz. So a lot of good things that way that eventually are starting to happen for us. So yeah, you never know. I mean, you can't predict the future, but I did believe that we would, eventually start separating ourselves from that middle of the pack and get going closer to where we, envision ourselves.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.